The evolution of the Heath Ledger movie. Heath Andrew Ledger was an Australian actor and director. After performing roles in several Australian TV and film productions during the 1990s, Ledger left for the United States in 1998. He was born on the 4th of April, 1979 in Perth, Australia.
Sorry about that bad joke.
He died on the 22nd of January 2008 in New York City, USA.
From your lips he drew the hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Heath Ledger died of an accidental drug overdose, cardiac arrest that followed. This video is intended to honour and highlight such a talented actor who we lost too soon, similar to Brandon Lee, James Dean, Paul Walker, Corey Haim, Brittany Murphy, River Phoenix, and those other actors and actresses who we lost also. You'll know Heath Ledger as Ennis Del Mar in Brokeback Mountain. William Thatcher in A Knight's Tale. And our Patrick Verona in 10 Things I Hate About You. And of course, most famously, the best incarnation of the Joker. In The Dark Knight. Ledger began his career back in 1992, appearing as an orphan clown. I'm an orphan clown, I'll tell you that for nothing. I'm an orphan clown. Now, straight off the bat, what's interesting here is he's playing a clown, a role he would posthumously win an Oscar for later on in his career as the Joker. He's also an orphan, which Batman is as well, so there's another reference to that series he's going to get into. In Clowning Around, and he was only 12 years old, it follows a boy who realises there is more to being a clown than just clowning around. Almost 3 hours long in length the film is, so brace yourself.
Brace yourself.
3 hours long? Jesus! Heath Ledger's film debut, so it's important when we're talking about Ledger. Tom Cavanagh wrote it, who I know from being JD's brother in Scrubs.
I can't do this all on my own. No, I know I'm no Superman.
It did star Van Johnson, who appeared in Brigadoon 1954. A year later, he was a cyclist. We
are the cyclists. The intermediate stage between humans and pure energy.
He was a cyclist in Aussie TV show Ship to Shore. And there's a little timestamp here for Heath Ledger. The cyclist. Blink and you'll miss him. You know, it's comedy, family, kids, TV shenanigans. Glenda Hambley created Ship to Shore. She's known for Neighbours, 2001 to 2003.
Everybody needs good neighbors.
2 years later, Snowy Balls, he was in Sweat TV series.
Look, I've been thinking.
Do you want to catch the train down?
Dad, I gotta go, okay? I'm trying to say I miss you.
We miss you too.
Send my love to Mum.
And it was an Aussie drama series about the students at an Australian school for the athletically gifted. He was actually back playing an actual cyclist too, a young gay cyclist.
Her name's Maria.
I'm not interested in girls. Look. The same way girls make you feel, that's how it is for me with guys. If you can't handle that, well...
But how come we never said something before?
Look, I don't want to argue with you, Danny.
He plays someone who's gay in this, and that's another reference to a future film he would be famous for. He appeared in the pilot and the other 25 other episodes.
Zoe? Ah, there you are. Look, how would you feel about swapping rooms with Stuart here?
It's Noodle snoring. I can't get a decent sleep. Please, mate? You said you were a heavy sleeper, and I thought, well, just for a while.
If you don't like it, you can always change back.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
1997, he was Toby in Black Rock. He's wearing his Hawaiian shirt, nice necklace, and all that. I've noticed he's always getting picked on in his TV stints. If you look through his career, I don't know what it is about him, but he always gets bullied in his TV stints. Now, it's very dark, Black Rock, when a young schoolgirl is raped and murdered. The mateship between a group of surfers is tested as the truth is slowly revealed. Now, what's also shocking is the fact it's based on a true story as well. Director Steven Vidler, who starred in See No Evil, featuring Kane.
See no evil this weekend.
And the remake of the masterpiece Salem's Lot, 2004, made this one. Even the name sounds dark, doesn't it? Black Rock. Heath was alongside Simon Lyndon, who was in Chopper, a seriously mad film, and I think that was Australian as well. So Simon Lyndon featured in it too. The same year, his biggest and most successful role to date, Home and Away. As Scott Irwin. No relation to Steve Irwin, I presume. I presume, that is. You never know, do you? You never know. Now, Home and Away chronicles the lives, loves, happiness and heartbreaks of the residents of Summer Bay, a small coastal town in New South Wales, Australia. And it's still going strong today, which is just mad. Here are some clips of him in the hit series Home and Away.
Well?
What was your question, sir?
Behaviour like this isn't going to help you, Scott. Did you or did you not enter my office to print out that examination paper?
Well, who says I did?
I want an answer from you, and I warn you. A denial, which turns out to be a lie later on, will not be in your best interest.
You said someone else admitted to it, right?
Yes.
You know, what's going to happen to them?
That's none of your concern.
Yeah, except you're going to get light on them because they dobbed me in.
He was a busy man come 1997, actually. First being Toby in Black Rock, second playing Scott in Home and Away, third he was Oberon in Pause. Nah. Adventure family fantasy film. Playing another guy who's after the girl. Teen Neighbours. Help an intelligent dog thwart a villainous seeking his late master's fortune. Oh, here we go. Also starred legendary comedian Billy Connolly as PC. Now, last time we mentioned the Scottish Idol, I played a clip from the stand-up, which is hilarious, and my video got pulled for copyright because I played the segments of it. So rather than getting pulled for copyright, if after this video, so you YouTube Billy Connolly prostate exam, it's probably the funniest 8 minutes of video you'll see. Put in another tab, it'll have you in tears, I promise you. Harry Cripps wrote Pause. He's also known for Supernova and The Magic Pudding. Oh, Magic Pudding! Oh no, I need to watch that, The Magic Pudding. It was the second film role for Heath Ledger. That was fourth spot in 1997. He was Raw. Pretty big for Heath Ledger because he was the lead role in this TV series.
Get back across the river. She belongs to us. Not anymore.
His face was on the cover and everything. His name sold it. He must have understood that Heath was going to have a lengthy career Not much is known about it, but it's set in the year 400 AD, and it follows a young Irishman, Connor, played by Heath Ledger, as he sets out to rid his land of invading Romans. But in order to accomplish this, he must first unite the Celtic clans. He is a 20-year-old orphaned prince who must rise above tragedy to lead his people to freedom. Here he is, playing another orphan, rallying his people to freedom, like Braveheart or something. This roar, it has a Knight's Tale meets a Xena warrior princess feel about it. Yeah. His Irish accent's really good.
Get back across the river. She belongs to us. Not anymore.
I don't know how actors do it. All I can say in an Irish accent is, it's 10:15, should have done now. It's 10:15, should have done now. That's all I can say. I wish I could be fluent in Irish. The accent. It's got action, adventure, fantasy, and romance in there. I loved him in this. He's badass. He's fighting. I love his hair. Everything. Honestly, if you're a big fan of Heath Ledger, do check out the series. Definitely worth a watch if you're a huge Ledger fan. He was in all 13 episodes. Before he really made a name for himself come 1999. Patrick Moroni in 10 Things I Hate About You. 1999. Genre, teen rom-com. He was the bad boy, Patrick. I love him in this. Coolest man ever.
Later then.
A pretty popular teenager can't go out on a date until her ill-tempered older sister does. I enjoyed seeing Heath Ledger sing Can't Take My Eyes Off You.
Too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you.
And being chased by the security guard. I think he smacks his bum or something as well. I also like the scenes where Patrick and Julia Stiles as Cat, so Cat and Pat, that's Cat and Pat, yeah. So Pat and Cat are paintballing, and it gets all lovey-dovey. It's really sweet. It's a really sweet scene. Now it's a young cast of people who you recognise instantly. From Ledger to Stiles, to Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Davis Krumholtz, who looks very different now. It's a really sweet film, good messages, father-daughter relationship's nice. I also remember the sad poem at the end. I hate the way you such and such. I hate the way you this and that. And it will pull at your heartstrings, make a few tears come down your face. And apparently Julia Stiles, who reads it, didn't plan on crying, but did on the first take.
I hate it when you lie. I hate it when you make me laugh. Even worse when you make me cry. I hate it when you're not around and the fact that you didn't call. But mostly I hate the way I don't hate you. Not even close. Not even a little bit. Not even at all.
Honestly, watch this movie. You probably have done, but watch it anyway. It's got a great soundtrack. Bare Naked Ladies, Joan Jett, Salt and Pepper, Thompson Twins to Madness. Ellen director from the 90s, Gil Junger, who's also known for Black Knight. Not that one. Black Knight. Not Knight's Tale. Black Knight. And this is 10 Things I Hate About You. Heath Ledger improvised the moment where Patrick starts playing with the fire. I think it's a Bunsen burner. This was Heath Ledger's first American movie. beating Ashton Kutcher to play Pat. Now, can you imagine Ashton Kutcher playing Pat instead of Heath Ledger? It's still, yeah, I think it'd still sell, but there's something about Heath in this as I love. I said he's a bad boy in this, but he does turn into a bit of a softie, which is nice. You know, he's not all bad boy. Towards the end of the film, you'll understand. He's just so cool in this. Now, the same year 10 Things was released, Heath was Jimmy in Two Hands, Australian comedy crime film. So he must have flew over from America to Australia to do 2 films. Jimmy, who works in a strip club in King's Cross. We got Brian Brown, who I know from Along Came Polly. He plays the crazy extreme sports guy. Rose Byrne from Bridesmaids joined Heath in this one, Two Hands. 19-year-old strip club promoter. So he's a promoter. Jimmy is just scraping by in the red light district of Sydney when local crime lord Pando, weird name, offers him a shot at working for him. Jimmy jumps at the chance to deliver a costly package, but when Jimmy gets jacked by a couple of kids, he's indebted to the dangerous gangster for $10,000. Running out of time, he schemes to rob a bank to save himself and a beautiful girl he desires from a gruesome demise. Oh, mama. It was actually filmed around Bondi Beach, too, which is good because it's a great TV series as well.
Well outside the flags, both are caught in a deep gutter close to shore. His friend is being swept out and is going under.
And Bondi Beach, do check it out if you want to be inspired, uplifted, and you want to have that intensity. Bondi Beach is right up there. Bondi Beach even had Mr. Bean on the show. That should sell a TV show entirely.
I know. He's always new.
Gregor Jordan wrote and directed Two Hands. Now, he worked with Joaquin Phoenix in Buffalo Soldiers. Buffalo Soldier, dread like a rasta. It was a Buffalo Soldier in the heart of America. It's strange seeing him being romantic and lovely and then flipped to the villain. 2 of them parts, you know, the romantic and the villain, he made a name for himself. I do like his yin and yang tattoo. In this, I'll try and find you a picture of it. Gabriel Martin in The Patriot, 2000. Genre, epic historical fiction war film. Firstly, his name in this reminds me so much of Gabriel Iglesias, because the first name, get Gabriel, and Martin, very funny stand-up. Mel Gibson-led movie, harkening back to Braveheart, 1995, who he actually did weirdly enough mention earlier as a coincidence. Heath Ledger played the eldest son, Gabriel, who joins the Continentals.
We have to do something. I forbid you to go! Not a child! You're my child!
Peaceful farmer Benjamin Martin is driven to lead the colonial militia during the American Revolution when a sadistic British officer murders his son. So if you love Ledger, it's hard seeing him in this because what happens to him, as I've just spoiled for you. Roland Emmerich made The Patriot. He loves his apocalypse, end of the world type movies like Godzilla, Independence Day, and The Day After Tomorrow. He's just crazy about that. We have the Saving Private Ryan writer and Thor the Dark World writer, Robert Rodat. Heath Ledger said working on the film answered his question of why Americans wave their flags so high. It's because they went to hell and back to build their country. Heath Ledger didn't work for a year because he only got offers for teen heartthrobs. He was about to quit acting altogether and return to Australia when he was cast in this film. Strangely enough, if he did quit acting, you could only wonder where his life would have led. You know, he may have gone back to TV, or he may have waited a few years. Who knows what would have happened if he did quit acting. If you're interested in Heath Ledger's Last Hours, do check out The Last Hours of Heath Ledger. I found that very, very interesting. So the Patriot had Jason Isaacs, Jolie Richardson, Tom Wilkinson, Chris Cooper, and the late Sky McCall Bartu Isaac. Now, Sky died in very similar circumstances to Heath. That's another unusual thing to get your head around regarding this film, that Sky lost her life in a similar fashion. Now, we have mentioned this film earlier on, A Knight's Tale, 2001, as Willie Thatcher. Oh, Willie Thatcher. Action. Adventure. Romance. I can't do romance, but I can't.
Well, this good you speak of.
Yes.
It will be my doing as well.
Young Squire Willie Thatcher in 14th century Europe. After his master dies, a peasant squire, fueled by his desire for food and glory, creates a new identity for himself as a knight. So it's uplifting. You know, it's one of those funny ones that you can also enjoy. Brian Hengeland wrote and directed. You'll know him for writing Man on Fire, LA Confidential. And I think he also wrote Tom Hardy's Legend too, Brian Hengeland. We got Cold Feet's Mark Addy, Shannon Sossamon, Paul Bettany, and Rufus Sewell. They all starred in it as well.
Welcome to the new world. God save you, if it is right that he should do so.
Now, he has blonde hair in this, different to his black and green hair he would have later. And there's loads of great quotes in this from, "Can it be done, father? Can a man change the stars?" His fatherly calmly replies, "Yes, William, if he believes enough, a man can do anything." Very uplifting quote just for you there. Heath Ledger knocked out one of the director, Brian Hengeland's, front teeth with a broomstick when the two were demonstrating a jousting move. Oh, bloody hell. As we will later find out, like in this instance of Heath Ledger knocking Brian Hengeland's front teeth out, he was a clumsy so-and-so. But you know what? I can't judge him because I am a clumsy so-and-so. I'm always banging, knocking, dropping, falling, everything. The initial scene of the two knights jousting in the first scene of the movie is actually footage of Heath Ledger's stunt double in an accident. While filming a later scene, the stunt double's opponent's lance moved off target and hit him in the head. The double fell to the ground unconscious. The entire scene was used for the introduction. Oh, I've just realised something. Oh. A Knight's Tale, Dark Knight Rises. My head's been blown then. 2001, Monsters Ball. Sonny Kotowski, son to Hank Kotowski, a widower. They are both correctional officers in a prison in Georgia. So if you would like to see Heath Ledger in a uniform, this will be right up your street. Now, Hank Grotowski, the Papa, was played by Billy Bob Thornton, the badass himself. Halle Berry as Letitia. Sean Combs, P. Diddy. We have Everyone Loves Raymond's Peter Boyle. We have Mos Def and the old Joan the Ledge for Monsters Ball. After a family tragedy, a racist prison guard re-examines his attitudes while falling in love with the African-American wife of the last prisoner he executed. That is some complex, convoluted plot, that, isn't it? He's got an accent which we know he's good at changing for films.
Huh? What you gonna do? See, how you like that, huh? Come on, you tough guy now? Are you tough?
He has this southern twang as well, which is really nice in his voice. People have always talked about the emotional scene. Well, I always loved you part.
You hate me, don't you? Yeah, I hate you. I always did. Well, I always loved you.
I don't want to spoil it for you, so I'll leave it up to you to watch it. Finding Neverland director Mark Forster was behind Monsters Ball. It was critically acclaimed as well.
Say something.
Which is a win-win.
Say something!
A year later, 2002, The Four Feathers. Now, he does enjoy this type of movie, doesn't he? You know, this war, drama, epic stuff. He's a big fan of it. He was Harry Feversham, a young British officer. A British officer resigns his post just before battle and subsequently receives 4 white feathers from his friends and fiancée as symbols of what they believe to be his cowardice. Now, he loves the military uniform, does our Heath. A.E.W. Mason's book, The Four Feathers, 1902. It was made into a film first during 1939. John Clements playing Ledger's role of Lieutenant Harry Faversham. Team America World Police definitely took some plot points from this one, 1000%, because there is a scene where Ledger has to dress up as an Arabian. This was reflected in Team America World Police.
Muhammad Jihad! Bagala! Muhammad Jihad! La Durka Muhammad Jihad! Muhammad!
Bak Dirk Allah.
Director Shekhar Kapoor also made Elizabeth movies starring Cate Blanchett. Now this director, he doesn't half love his classical British monarchy type stuff. Shekhar Kapoor's The Four Feathers is beautifully filmed and performed. The themes of love, honour, loyalty, friendship, trust, redemption, wisdom, true strength and true courage are all in there. Jude Law was the original choice for the role of Harry. Can you imagine Jude Law being in The Four Feathers? The story has been made into films of the same title at least 6 times, so you've got to get the right one with this one with Heath Ledger. Now for you ladies and gay men out there, you're going to love this next one. Heath Ledger and Orlando Bloom together. Yeah. Ned Kelly, 2003. An innocent man becomes one of the most wanted criminals the world has ever known. See, that synopsis alone just should make you want to watch it. It sells the film so well. Ledger was the lead. Ned Kelly was 19th century Australian bushranger. It's a historical drama. Now, this is the stuff we know he loves. But this one went back to his native roots, playing an Australian, so he must have loved that. It's based on the Robert Drew book, Our Sunshine, 1991. So he actually played a real-life person, Edward Kelly, an outlaw, a gang leader, and a convicted police murderer. Without the great big bushy beard, though. Great big bushy beard. His accent was back, like we talked about.
They say the trouble with the Irish is that we rely too much on dreams and not enough on gunpowder.
The Sydney Morning Herald suggested that Heath Ledger was made for the role because when he tried on Ned Kelly's original iron armour, it fit perfectly. Heath Ledger was quoted saying, "It was quite eerie actually, we're the same height and the same body weight. He was skinny because he was starving. I'm skinny because I don't go to the gym." The last words from Heath Ledger in the final voiceover are also the last words of Ned Kelly before he was hanged. Such is life. Those were the 3 words. Mick Jagger starred as Ned Kelly in the original film. What? Wait, what? Mick Jagger starred as Ned Kelly in the original film made in 1969. Right, so here's a clip of that. There. Now you're back in the room. 3, 2, 1. Our Heathy then had his first taste of horror. Playing a young priest who was sent to Rome to investigate the troubling death of the head of his order. Alex Bernier, an unhappy and disillusioned priest Alex Bernier, a member of a fictitious religious order, the Carolingians, which specialises in fighting demons and other hellspawn. That would be a great crossover, wouldn't it, of Hellboy and this one. He rejoined Mark Addy from Knight's Tale and Peter Weller, you should know from RoboCop. I'll always remember the front cover of this. It sticks in my mind. It's very good.
What's going on here?
What's going on here?
Next round, barman. Skip in the Lords of Dogtown.
Wake up, Maggie, I think I got something to say to you.
The Lords of Dogtown, 2005. Genre: biography, drama, sport. You know, as we saw in his earlier career, he was a fan of doing these sporty type films. He was board designer Skip Engblom, a real life person. Another one.
You're joking. Not another one?
The film follows the surf and skateboarding trends that originated in Venice, California, during the 1970s. So we got skateboarding, extreme sports.
There he goes, gets some mocking speed.
What's not to love? It also has faltering friendships, rags to riches, rise and fall stories, all washed up stories, and the underdog story, which is one I love and care for. The underdog story. The film pins Ledger with American skateboarder Jay Adams, Tony Hawk, Johnny Knoxville. The real Skip Engblom wanted Heath Ledger to play him, which is always an honour. Heath Ledger wore some of Skip Engblom's old clothes. Skip's wife had saved them and they lent them to Ledger to help him get into character. Lady director Catherine Hardwicke, known for Twilight and The Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood. A man named Stacy wrote it. What? A man named Stacy? So it was a woman lady director and a man named Stacy. That sounds like a Johnny Cash song, doesn't it? A man named Stacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Speaking of music. Oh my god, the artists in this one is going to blow you away. So sit in your chair, make sure you're strapped in. Stevie Wonder, Faces, Cream, Beach Boys, Alice Cooper, Jimi Hendrix, Rod Stewart, I'm not done, Cher, Neil Young, Nazareth, T-Rex, Foghat, To Sweet, nope, still more, David Bowie, Black Sabbath, Iggy Pop, and Deep Purple. That's a lot, isn't it? That is a lot.
Got my stuff?
Yeah. Hi. Yeah. This isn't a library, so, it's $10 to browse.
Jacob in the Brothers Grimm, 2005. Genre, we got the dark fantasy, but also a bit of comedy in there as well. And I must admit, the soundtrack to begin with by Dario Marianelli is some terrifying stuff.
Oh, it tastes good.
Sasha!
Sasha! The gingerbread man.
Will and Jake Grimm are travelling con artists who encounter a genuine fairy tale curse which requires true courage instead of their unusual, bogus exorcisms. Director Terry Gilliam, whose name we're going to mention again later on. Terry Gilliam. Writer Aaron Kruger. Nope, not related to Freddy Krueger. He actually wrote The Ring, 2002. The Brothers Grimm, Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm, were German academics, philologists, the study of language, cultural researchers, lexicographers and authors, who together collected and published folklore during the 19th century. Matt Damon and Heath Ledger were originally cast in opposite roles. They petitioned and switched their roles. Now, can you imagine if they didn't switch their roles? Damon, Ledger, Jonathan Pryce, Lena Headey from Game of Thrones, and I actually know him more so from Parole Officer. Mackenzie Crook from UK's Office hit the cast. Also, Heath wears glasses in this too. I thought you ought to know that. He wears glasses.
Not him. He doesn't love her.
Here we go. Ennis Del Mar in Brokeback Mountain, 2005. Genre: drama, romance, LGBTQ. And I always found we needed this film. As in film history, I think we really needed it. I think society needed it, and I'm just happy it's out there. The story of a forbidden and secretive relationship between two cowboys and their lives over the years. The film stars Heath Ledger, Jake Gyllenhaal, Anne Hathaway, and Michelle Williams.
Elma, this is Jack Twist. And Jack, this is my wife, Elma.
Howdy.
Hello?
And depicts the complex, emotional and sexual relationship between Ennis Del Mar and Jack Twist in the American West from 1963 all the way to 1983. Ennis Del Mar literally translates as Island of the Sea. I like that. It was originally a short story, Brokeback Mountain, by Annie Proulx. Ledger did get an Oscar nod, yeah, which is definitely worthy. And this one you should definitely get the tissues at the ready. There's a few weepy scenes. Yeah, like that ending with the shirt hanging up and Ennis says, "Jack, I swear," with tears in his eyes, that will melt your heart. And because it will melt your heart, Heath Ledger declined to go to the 1-month cowboy camp that had been organised, as he had grown up on farms in Western Australia. Jake Gyllenhaal was required to attend, however, as he needed roughing up. When asked if he had any fears about playing a gay man, Heath Ledger replied that he was not afraid of the role, only that he wasn't mature enough to do it justice. It's pretty heavy. According to reports, Heath Ledger nearly broke co-star Jake Gyllenhaal's nose while filming a kissing scene. He's dangerous with those lips, isn't he, our Heath? According to reports, Heath Ledger nearly broke co-star Jake Gyllenhaal's nose while filming a kiss scene. Now, director Ang Lee. Ang Lee, director. And I need to watch this film again, I tell you. Now, during the same time, David Tennant was playing Casanova for BBC 3 in 2005. Now, I've also made a video about that phenomenal actor, too. Here's a pic. A certain somebody, Heath Ledger, was playing Casanova for the movie adaptation.
Congratulations to you. You must be very pleased for Victoria.
Oh, that reminds me. Have you seen Victoria?
No, that's true. I thought she'd be here with her fiance, but no.
That's true. I haven't seen her anywhere. I think she's...
I had forbidden her to come, but she has defied me.
She must have changed.
She has.
So, he was back playing, you guessed it, a real-life person. Giacomo Casanova, Italian adventurer and author from the Republic of Venice, famous for his often complicated and elaborate affairs with women that his name is now synonymous with womanizer. The fabled romantic Giacomo Casanova, after failing to win the affection of the Venetian woman Francesca Bruni, strives to discover the real meaning of love. Heavy cast from Natalie Dormer, Sienna Miller, Jeremy Irons, Oliver Platt, Omar Jahili, Walking Dead's Lauren Cohen. Swede Lasse Hallström was behind the camera. He's known for award-winning The Cider House Rules, Chocolat, and What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Those movies definitely worth a watch. Now, there are lots and lots to this film. It's not just a raunchy one. There's more to it than that. It's got adventure, spy stuff, romance, comedy, and some awesome lines from Ledger. Candy, 2006. Candy, a poet named Dan, Heath Ledger, falls in love with an art student named Candy, who gravitates to his bohemian lifestyle and his love of heroin. Hooked as much as they are on one another as they are onto the drug, their relationship is alternating states of oblivion, self-destruction, and despair. It's got this Blue Valentine feel to it.
Oh my God, you fucking son of a bitch! You fucking asshole! You son of a bitch! You son of a bitch!
All right. You two, break it.
Stop it.
That's enough. That's enough.
Just leave.
Mimi, please.
Candy's based on the Luke Davis book from 1997, Candy, a novel of love and addiction. Ledger was the director's only choice for the role of Dan. Ledger, the main star, would later tragically die of an accidental prescription drug overdose. In an interview, Heath Ledger discussed using his own cigarette addiction as a means to understand heroin addiction for this film.
She was everything.
That?
She was everything to me.
G'day.
Hey.
Thought it was tomorrow.
Robbie in I'm Not There, 2007. This biography and music film. Several actors portray legendary singer and songwriter Bob Dylan at different stages in his personal life and career. Robbie Clark is a 22-year-old actor who plays Jack Rowlands in the 1965 biographical film Grain of Sand. During filming in Greenwich Village in January 1964, he falls in love with French artist Claire and they soon marry. Grain of Sand is a hit and Robbie becomes a star, but their relationship is strained and Claire observes Robbie flirting with other women. Cate Blanchett was Jude. Hey Jude. Christian Bale played the pastor. Richard Gere was Billy the Kid. And there's loads more gorgeous faces in this to enjoy. Richard Gere, Heath Ledger and Ben Whishaw don't sing at all in the film. Ironically, both Heath Ledger and Gere have sung in movies prior to this one. This is the first film starring Christian Bale and Heath Ledger, and we all know how important those two actors are when they're together. Lots of Bob Dylan songs to enjoy, 39 to be exact. 39 Bob Dylan songs. Ledger's second to last feature film, and there's lots to say.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
I only have one question. Where is Harvey Dent?
The Joker in The Dark Knight, 2008.
Me? I was right here. Who did you leave him with? Your people? Assuming, of course, that they are still your people and not Moroni's.
Still my favourite comic book movie, as the anarchist mastermind known as the Joker, a psychopathic mass murderer with a sadistic sense of humour.
How about a magic trick? I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. It's gone.
So many quotes.
You know, you remind me of my father. I hated my father. I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you?
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you a stranger.
Why so serious?
The list is endless. The image of him as the Joker has become a meme in its truest form of the word. The best performance I've ever seen in a comic book film. Still one of the best openings to any movie, with the bank heist. We're thrown right in the deep end. When the menace known as the Joker emerges from his mysterious past, he wreaks havoc and chaos on the people of Gotham. The Dark Knight must accept one of the greatest psychological and physical tests of his ability to fight injustice.
Now, our operation is small, but there's a lot of potential for aggressive expansion. So which of you fine gentlemen would like to join our team?
And we've recently just had a teaser of the trailer for Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. I don't think anybody can put himself into a character the way Heath did for this. He won a posthumous Academy Award. This is a legendary, in all use of the word legendary, performance.
And you didn't disappoint. You let 5 people die. Then you let Dent take your place. Even to a guy like me, that's cold.
Where's Dent?
Those mob fools want you gone so they can get back to the way things were.
Let's not forget his whole look, his war paint, the dishevelled dark green hair, the Chelsea smile, the waistcoat. That waistcoat, Jesus. Director Christopher Nolan, written by the Nolan brothers. Wonderful cast: Christian Bale, Gary Oldman, Michael Caine, Morgan Freeman, Maggie Gyllenhaal, with lots more faces with Ledger. This is just the tip of the iceberg of trivia I have about Heath in The Dark Knight. In Sir Michael Caine's opinion, Heath Ledger beat the odds and topped Jack Nicholson's Joker from Batman. Jack was like a clown figure, benign but wicked, maybe a killer old uncle. He could be funny and make you laugh. Heath's gone in a completely different direction to Jack. He's like a really scary psychopath. He's a lovely guy, and his Joker is going to be a hell of a revelation in this picture. Caine bases this belief on a scene where the Joker pays a visit to Bruce Wayne's penthouse. He'd never met Ledger before, so when Ledger arrived and performed, he gave Caine such a fright, he forgot his lines. Now we're talking about a national treasure, Michael Caine, who's been in the business for so long, making him forget his lines. That is one hell of a triumph. In preparation for his role as the Joker, Heath Ledger hid away in a motel room for about 6 weeks. During this extended stay of seclusion, Ledger developed deep into the psychology of the character. He devoted himself to developing the Joker's every tick, namely the voice and that sadistic sounding laugh. But the voice, Ledger's goal was to create a tone that didn't echo the work of Jack Nicholson. Ledger's interpretation of the Joker's appearance was primarily based on the chaotic, dishevelled look of punk rocker Sid Vicious, combined with the psychotic mannerisms of Malcolm McDowell's character Alex from A Clockwork Orange. Let's not forget about the awesome soundtrack, Hans Zimmer, one of my favourite film composers, or the fact it made $1 billion at the box office and peaked at 4th place in the top grossing movies. It is now 36th, but should be higher. I've done a Michael Caine video, a Jack Nicholson video, I've done them all, mate. Done them all. Thought I'd plug them too. Ledger took a method approach to get into the disturbed mindset of the Joker and was adamant to not have his performance echo that of Jack Nicholson's previous effort. The makeup design was created by Ledger himself, stating that he didn't think his character would allow anyone else to apply his makeup for him. The makeup team worked continually to replicate Ledger's design throughout the production. The Joker's look is said to be partially inspired by Brandon Lee's character in The Crow, an actor who also passed away prior to their film's release. One iconic scene in The Dark Knight is when the Joker begins mockingly clapping inside of his jail cell, when Gordon gets promoted to commissioner. This moment was not in the actual script. Ledger improvised his sardonic deadpan applause as he did, dressed up as the nurse with the explosion. A notable tick in Ledger's portrayal of the Joker is how he constantly licks his lips in an unsettling manner. The reason Ledger did this was to keep his mouth moist, which is necessary in order to speak in the Joker's voice. Many believe that Heath Ledger was always in the dark headspace on set to be able to stay in character. However, what's even more impressive about his performance is how he easily was able to turn it on and off. Many cast and crew recall Ledger being very much himself when he was off camera and would often skateboard around set in full costume. That I gotta see. I have to see that. During the hospital scene, when the Joker is in a nurse's costume, his name tag says the name Matilda. Ledger chose this name specifically as a tribute to his daughter. Jack Nicholson is another actor who was highly praised for his portrayal of the Joker. Heath Ledger interviewed Nicholson before taking on the role, and the shining actor told him, "The role of being the Joker will haunt you. The role is so dark that you probably won't be able to sleep, but enjoy the role as the clown prince of crime, because it's nothing but good fun." Let's not forget about how some people thought Ledger as the Joker would be a huge mistake. People actually genuinely thought that. How wrong were they? Very, very, very wrong. The last feature Heath starred in, he was Tony in The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, 2009. The genre was fantasy.
Say,
So his name is
can
Tony.
you put a price on your dreams?
Sorry, Tony. A disgraced philanthropist named Tony. A travelling theatre company gives its audience much more than you're expecting. This is a strange movie, but it's an important one in Ledger's career, obviously. After the death of Heath Ledger, production was shut down for a few months. Then it was restarted when Johnny Depp, Jude Law and Colin Farrell agreed to complete Ledger's role. Johnny Depp, Colin Farrell and Jude Law all gave the income they received for this movie to Heath Ledger's daughter Matilda, so that her economic future would be secure. I don't need to tell you how brilliant that is. Director Terry Gilliam made this one. We didn't mention him before, but he made The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. Can I just say, as a heterosexual bloke, he looked handsome as ever in this. He did. It's quite an unintentionally sad movie because of the loss of Heath. Depp, Farrell and Law filling in, with added Christopher Plummer, Andrew Garfield and Paloma Faith, and the late Vern Troyer, who we also lost. But it's a beautiful movie all in all, and one of those ones that you just have to see. And it's a tragic loss to cinema with regards to Vern Troyer and Heath. I want to thank you, Heath, for all your incredible performances we've been through today. Yeah. Now, if you have enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with my next videos. If you would like to listen to some of my radio shows, then you can visit mixcloud.com/Richard-Isles to listen to over 100 radio shows. 100. Even one about the main man himself, Heath Ledger, which you could check out. And do like my Facebook page, facebook.com/Richard-Isles Radio Show for future videos, radio shows, and past videos and past shows.